What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to Football is Live. Today we're going to be looking at the top 5 most shocking moments of the Premier League season. So let's get into it. At number 5, I've got the COVID cancellations that were happening during the November-December period. Clubs were being accused of using COVID as a way to delay games and cover for injured players. Well, after a month or two, Premier League cracked down on the rule to cancel games and eventually it died. And by my calculations, there were 29 Premier League games called off and had to be rescheduled, and now that's why we're in the congestion period now. Moving on, at number 4 of the most shocking moments of the Premier League season, I've got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being sacked and the whole downfall of Man United this season. The biggest team in the country, Man United, or they like to think they are, they were always under scrutiny under Ole because of when Cristiano signed, there was extra pressure on them. And after some horrendous results, including a 5-0 drubbing to Liverpool, 4-1 to Watford, the moment everyone been waiting for, Solskjaer was finally sacked. After Ole was sacked, there was a new frenzy of who's going to be the new Man United boss. Will it be Pochettino, Ten Hag, Luis Enrique? No, Man United make a very boneheaded move again. They get Ralf Rangnick, who was the director of football at CSK Moscow, to be some interim manager, to be a consultant later on. Well, of course, United go down in flames. They don't do too well in Rangnick. They finally announced that they're going to hire Ten Hag. He's going to come in the summer, and Rangnick's going to go back to being a coach of Austria. So the whole downfall of Man United has been a shocking moment, really, because they finished second last season. Coming in at number 3 of the most shocking moments of Premier League this season, I've got the Newcastle takeover bid. Now, this news was shocking purely because of the fact that it finally happened. There were murmurs for years, and this news caused a ruckus. Long-term implications were going to be felt for a long time, simply for the fact that now we have another super team in the Premier League. We already had the top 6. What's going to happen when Newcastle get big and they're going to be top 7? And then you look at the ethical side. Now, this was what really caused so many debates about the Newcastle takeover bid, was the fact that Saudi Arabia had questionable human rights issues, and clearly, I mean, no one can argue that this taking over Newcastle is a sports washing project. And what's this doing to Premier League? We already have one sports washing project with Man City. Now we're going to have a second one with Newcastle. So much discussion about human rights, money. Newcastle on the verge of relegation. January, they spend about 80 million. They do amazingly well. And yeah, it's going to be an exciting summer for Newcastle. And yeah, we now have another big club. So that was number 3 most shocking moment. Now we get to the top 2. Now this was very shocking. Number 2, I've got the whole Mason Greenwood saga. When news first broke out of what Mason Greenwood was really doing behind closed doors, when those text messages were leaked, when those images, everyone was simply shocked. Mason Greenwood, one of the brightest younger stars in English football, playing for one of the biggest clubs, Man United, a young boy who had the whole life in front of him. It turns out he was alleged to be beating up his girlfriend. Just seeing this, every fan was absolutely gobsmacked. You got Mason Greenwood, a young star for England, plays for England. He's 19 or 20, whole world in front of him, sponsored by Nike, and he's literally thrown his whole career away. And we've never seen anything like this, a young star being such a scumbag like this. So that was number 2 in my most shocking moment. And at number 1, the most shocking moment of Premier League season, it can only be Mr. Roman Abramovich having to sell Chelsea. Now, when the whole Russia invading Ukraine war was happening, most sports, you had some affected sports, you have some Russian stars affected. But with football, with Premier League specifically, it was in our backdoor step. It was right there. Chelsea is owned by an oligarch, one of Putin's closest confidants. Football was completely entrenched in politics, and we've never seen anything like it. We never thought we'd see the day where Abramovich, Chelsea is his pet project. He spends money freely, having to be forced to sell Chelsea. Abramovich must have saw sanctions were going to be placed on him. He was hoping for a quick, trying to put Chelsea in a trust, make some sort of, no one knew what that meant, but some sort of proxy ownership so he doesn't have to sell Chelsea. Well, the government wasn't having that, and it got finally announced that Abramovich has to sell Chelsea. For the first time, football fans were seeing actual endless amount of money being pumped into football, which has a negative impact on the whole wider society and football. You've seen teams waste money. Blackburn wasted money, Real Madrid, every team wastes money. But this time the money was being followed and it was traced back to some real political, legal, and it really negatively affected Chelsea. They weren't able to sell tickets, merchandise, they weren't able to generate revenue, and it was unfair to punish the Chelsea Football Club, the Chelsea fans, but that was the consequence of them having this owner for 15 years. So that was my list of the most shocking moments of the Premier League. Let me know if you enjoyed the video. Let me know if I missed anything. What else do you think was shocking? Or let me know how shocking were these things I talked about. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.